What's up, everybody? This is your boy Stephen J, and this is our brand new talk show called Let's Talk Wrestling. Every Tuesday we're going to come to you guys here in my living room behind the TV, and we're going to talk WWE, we're going to talk WWF, we're going to talk WCW, ECW, UWF, AWA. We may even talk a little TNA. We're going to talk wrestling, all wrestling, all the time. So come here for all your latest wrestling information, and you want to hear our opinions. Again, I'm your host, Stephen J, and this is Simply Steve. So that's his name, double S, Simply Steve. So first of all, what's big right now in the WWE going on right now? CM Punk quits to WWE. I'm going to give you my opinion on it based on the information that's out there. He really didn't come out and say, but he did have an interview, and he kind of took offense to the fact that Batista, who I really never liked in the first place, even when he was Deacon Batista, when he was with the Dudley Boys, with Devon Dudley. Anyway, but CM Punk quit because he didn't like the fact that Batista, on hiatus for 4 years, comes back and he gets an opportunity to main event WrestleMania. And he also didn't like the way the company is going, so we're going to talk about that. So this is my daughter's surprise, so she's going to go over there. So we're going to talk to Simply Steve. Simply Steve, what is your thoughts about CM Punk quitting the WWE? Is that good for business, as Triple H says, or is that bad for business? If it's good for business, why? Or if it's bad for business, why?
Well, let's
talk about it.
Well, it's bad for
Simply Steve, Simply Steve. A lot of people say, actually, every time we go out, we brothers. And I'm like, nah, we ain't brothers. It's my cousin. Let's go ahead.
Well, it's bad for business because a lot of WWE fans are disappointed that CM Punk left, but also a lot of them agree with the situation of how does Batista come back, and after being gone for 4 years, and he gets the main event WrestleMania when CM Punk was in fact the longest reigning defending WWE champion of the past 25 years. So that's disappointing to a lot of fans. I was disappointed too.
You seem nervous. You alright?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, alright, just checking.
Yeah, a lot of people were disappointed by that, and so was I. So it's the best one, definitely bad for business.
Here's the thing I look at. I look at the fact that Batista came in right about the same time John Cena came in. We all know John Cena's career. I don't like John Cena, and I will tell you on another episode why I don't like John Cena. But they came in about the same time. Batista, he went with Evolution. Again, he started off as Deacon Batista, working with Devon Dudley, and then he went with Evolution, and he kind of blew up from there. He had a little pop, but if you measure him, even against Cena, even against The Rock, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Jericho, Edge, all those boys, I'm sorry, he doesn't measure up. So my take on it, yeah, it's bad for business for the simple fact that Batista sucks. He's not that good. He doesn't really get a crowd reaction. And I mean, I don't think the management thought that, when he came into the Rumble, everybody was excited. Because the Rumble is when always some wrestler comes back and makes their return. We all knew Batista was coming back. I don't know if they knew he was coming back during the Rumble. I think they did say he was coming back in the Rumble. So, of course, he's going to get a huge pop. But the fact that, he came out, Daniel Bryan wasn't doing it, it just, I don't know if this is part of the angle, but no, I don't like it. I think it's bad for business because it's sending a message. There's two things that I don't like. The whole Batista thing, I don't like the CM Punk quit, but I can understand why he quit. But a simple fact that he doesn't like the direction of the company. I think CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan would have been an awesome main event at WrestleMania that would have been able to rival the Hell in a Cell match between The Undertaker and Mankind or The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, number one. Those matches were great. I think the Shawn Michaels Undertaker match was the best WrestleMania match of all time. But I think CM Punk, Daniel Bryan would have rivaled that because the two both are technical wrestlers, and they come from that background of the indie league and everything like that. So I think it would have been a really good match. And the whole direction of the company, let's look at Ryback. Ryback comes in, huge pop, feed me more, that was the thing. Got in line for a couple world championships, it didn't pan out, and then all of a sudden he turns into a heel, and now he's like off the radar, where for months this guy was just a fan favorite. I think he was more popular. He was the most popular wrestler. He was more popular than CM Punk, more popular than Daniel Bryan, more popular than John Cena at the time. So, and look at the turn that they've done with him, teaming him with Kurt Hennig's son. So, come on now, that's just dumb. And CM Punk, I don't think they had a storyline with him after he lost to The Undertaker last year, and a feud with Paul Heyman was pretty good. The little thing, I'm trying to think, did him and Brock Lesnar get into a fight?
Yes, that's SummerSlam.
Okay, so they did feud that. They should have kept that a little bit longer. That would have been hype going into WrestleMania with that. But the way that they're going now, the whole Daniel Bryan thing, where he's like the underdog going against Triple H and stuff like that, I think that's played out. The yes chant, everybody likes it. I don't understand why, but everyone likes the yes chant. What do you think about the direction of the company and how it's going? That's the other thing CM Punk said that one of the reasons why he needed some time off. Matter of fact, he actually said that he hadn't taken a day off in about 13 or 12 years, so that shows you his dedication to the actual business and his craft. So what do you think about the direction of the company? You know my opinion. So tell us Simply Steve.
Well, the direction of the company is going backwards.
Hold up, are you reading the paper or something? Is there a teleprompter that I'm seeing? Because you just like nervous. Loosen up, Simply Steve, double S.
I'm not nervous.
Up, man. Tell us about the company. What's the direction of the company?
The direction of the company, it's going bad. It hasn't been going good lately. And like Daniel Bryan said, instead of Triple H and Stephanie listening to what the people want.
Well, what do the people want?
They want CM Punk in the main event. They want, I like you said, I think they want to see. They would have been a good match to see CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan, which we have seen in the past before. But we haven't seen it at WrestleMania, so that would have been a good match at WrestleMania that I think everyone would love to see. I would have loved to see it because, as you said, they're both pretty good. And things need to turn around before something bad happens. I don't know what.
Well, we're going to take a trip back down into the Attitude Era. And in the Attitude Era, you had, and I don't think there's always one main guy. In the 80s, there was Hulk Hogan. He was the main guy. And then all of a sudden, nobody was up there with Hulk Hogan. And then the Ultimate Warrior came in, and he actually was up there with Hulk Hogan as far as popularity in wrestling. But Hulk Hogan transcended wrestling, meaning that everyone in wrestling, a wrestling fan, knew who Hulk Hogan was, knew who the Ultimate Warrior was. But people on Main Street did not know who Ultimate Warrior was. They knew who Hulk Hogan was. So you had those two guys, but Hulk Hogan still was elevated above him. But then you had the Attitude Era in the WWE. The Rock and Stone Cold. Stone Cold was up there, and he was up there, and then all of a sudden The Rock started getting popped, and then The Rock became bigger than Stone Cold. So you had these two guys in the Attitude Era that was just basically jogging for position as to who's the best in the company, and they were getting huge pops from everyone in the crowd. I mean, Stone Cold's Austin 316, the whole beer drinking, the whole middle finger and all that stuff, that started to play itself out. But then, just like by accident, how Daniel Bryan, when he won his title, and he did the whole yes thing, and that caught on. Stone Cold, I believe, was fighting Kurt Angle when he first did the thing about what? And then that caught on, so that kind of revived his thing a little bit. But now you get here's another time after the Attitude Era where you got CM Punk, you got Daniel Bryan, you got two superstars that basically are a top. I'm sorry, Batista, Randy Orton. That's a Monday night. That's a lesser pay-per-view, but for the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania, I don't want to see Batista and Randy Orton. I really don't want to see Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. I don't want to see Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and Batista in a three-way. To me, it's just stupid. It's just not exciting at all.
But it's better than seeing two heels go at it.
No, not really. Because look at it this way. Okay. I really just want to see, everybody wants to see Daniel Bryan. They're hoping that he wins the title. Do I really want to see him go against Batista? No. Do I really want to see him go against Randy Orton? No. Look at the Shield and the Wyatt family. When you had those two heels, they were going doing their own thing in WWE. But when they finally went head to head and faced each other, the first time that they looked at each other, everybody in the arena jumped up. Was like, oh my God, this is a dream match that we was waiting for. Hopefully that it happened. It finally didn't happen in the last pay-per-view. What was the people in the audience saying? This is awesome and all that stuff like that. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan is a true main event at WWE at WrestleMania that I wanted to see. Not the three-way, not the what they currently got now. I'm just sorry, it just doesn't work with me as far as the direction of the company is going. Hopefully somebody steps in like Vince McMahon and says, hey, matter of fact, I'd rather have Shane McMahon come back and take over and steer the company in a different direction and give other guys. I'm sick and tired of Cena. I'm getting sick and tired of Daniel Bryan. I liked him when he went against Cena a couple months last year, and it was all me against the world, and people says I'm not good enough and stuff like that. I thought that was a good angle, but now it's just getting ridiculous. So I think that's right now is the biggest thing that's happening in wrestling right now. When we come back next week, we're going to talk about, we're going to run down the main, we're going to run down the WrestleMania card, and we're going to give our opinions on each match, what we think is going to happen, why we think it should happen, and we're going to go back. But, you know, before we go, I'm just curious to think, to ask the question to Simply Steve over here, because the term Mount Rushmore has been thrown out ever since LeBron James did it at the NBA All-Star Game. Who would be your Mount Rushmore in wrestling, period? Mount Rushmore meaning the top 4 guys. LeBron James says you can't have 4 guys on there, but in wrestling, in the NBA, football, baseball, maybe. In wrestling, I think you can. So who are your top 4 wrestlers of all time that belong on the Mount Rushmore, meaning their face is carved in stone? Who do you think is up there? Should be up there.
Do you mean like wrestling right now or just from
past, present, future?
Okay. Well, for me, the top guy who should be number 1, I think, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of the greatest of all time. 3 Royal Rumble victories, 6-time WWE champion. Pretty good. I grew up watching him.
Let's keep it simple, Steve.
Then second would be, I have to go with The Rock. Also grew up with him. Third would have to be, I'm gonna go Undertaker. Yeah, Undertaker. And the 4th, I don't really know about the 4th. Those I really have.
So we still building the 4th. So he's saying there is no 4th because he can't think of nobody. But that's a good list. I would actually put a couple of them on there. But as far as my Mount Rushmore, and I grew up watching. Actually, I was a fan of WCW before I was a fan of the WWE or WWF at the time. So my Mount Rushmore would be, and this is in no order, and we're actually going to do a show with the top 10 wrestlers of all time. But in no order, meaning 1 through 4, I would say Hulk Hogan, I would say Ric Flair, I would say Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I would say The Rock as far as my Mount Rushmore.
I thought you said you didn't like Hulk Hogan like that.
I never liked Hulk Hogan, but I gotta respect what Hulk Hogan did. Think about what Hulk Hogan did. He's the one that brought wrestling into mainstream television on TV shows and in the movies. And he's the first guy. He's the first superstar of wrestling. And by superstar, I mean he's the first guy to transcend and leave the wrestling arena and started making shows. He had his cartoons. He had his own food. He had all this stuff to transcend. That if he walked out on the street, somebody would say, "Hey, that's Hulk Hogan." If Shawn Michaels walked down the street, you may have a few people, but nobody's gonna know who Shawn Michaels is. Like Kenny next door, he might not know who Shawn Michaels is, but I guarantee if Hulk Hogan came down the street, he would know who Hulk Hogan. So by that I mean everyone knows he is. The Rock, everyone knows who he is. Stone Cold Steve Austin, yes. Ric Flair, yes. And Hulk Hogan, he started it all. So that's going to do it for Let's Talk Wrestling. I'm your host again, Stephen J, with my co-host Simply Steve. Just call him Steve. So Steve and Steve, we'll be back with you next week. We're going to be talking more wrestling. Peace out. Wait, I want to introduce you to my kids because they're getting on my nerves. Here's my other son. His name is Elijah. Come poke your head in. Say hi. And this is my other son, Elisha. He's the cameraman.
What's up?
And here go my little Laba, my little daughter Sarai. Say hi.
Hi.
All right. That's it. Let's talk wrestling next week.
Push the red button.
Yes.